Welcome to my channel. In this occasion, we are going to go through the Tournament of Destroyers arc, also known as Universe 6 vs Universe 7 arc. Originally, I wanted to make a single video with this arc and the Blacks one, but I ended up adding so much stuff to the Universe 6 saga that it have enough material for one full video. Without further ado, let's start. The Universe 6 arc is very important when it comes to world building, introducing the Super Dragon Balls and the multiverse to the story, but besides that, the plot is quite simple, being just a martial arts tournament between Universe 7 and Universe 6 fighters, with the former ending up victorious. During this arc, I expanded quite a lot upon Piccolo's power and also Gohan's to lesser extent. The changes may seem odd at first, but believe me, it will make more sense as we go further in the story, but as of now, just try to keep an open mind. With that being said, let's start. After the defeat of Frieza and seeing the incredible power of Godly Ki, Piccolo decides to learn how to use it as well. Firstly, Piccolo figures out that as Kami-sama, he used to have a diluted version of Godly Ki, enough to sense other deities, but he lost that ability and energy when he gave up his position as the Guardian of Earth. Piccolo asked Goku for guidance about God Ki, and after learning everything he need to use this divine energy, he reached for Gohan to begin training together. After just a few training sessions, Gohan is able to tap into his unlocked potential state once again, although still struggling to do it consistently. Before continuing with the story, I want to expand upon the unlocked potential, also known as ultimate state, which is mostly used by Gohan and later, Piccolo. The unlocking of latent power have two different effects depending if the user has reached their limits or not. The first effect, which is how it works canonically, is the following. If the user's mortal body is still capable of naturally becoming more powerful, then the unlocked potential works as usual. The dormant potential of a mortal constantly changes and can be increased by training even if the user have already unlocked his power previously. The next new effect is part of our revision. If the user's mortal body have reached their biologic limit and then they unlock their potential, it allows them to generate the maximum amount of semi-divine ki that their body can handle without negative side effects. This opened the door for the user to increase their power to godly levels by learning and training how to wield divine ki. Past this effect, unlocking potential becomes redundant and increasing the power depends almost entirely in the user. To make this more clear, I'll give an example from the original story. The first time Gohan's potential was unlocked by Guru, it only awakened the full power he had dormant at that particular time, but his overall potential will continue to grow, since his body is still developing and he also kept training. This is an example of the regular effect. The second time Gohan's potential was unlocked by Elder Kai, the half Saiyan have nearly reached the limits of power that a mortal body can reach, meaning that the ritual of the Elder Kai unlocked Gohan's potential to generate semi-divine ki without the need of proper training. This is an example of our own second effect. What if Goku's potential was unlocked by Elder Kai instead? Since his potential is lower than Gohan, his body would have not been able to handle the same level of semi-divine ki as his son during the Buu arc, so he should be still weaker than Ultimate Gohan. The power of an hypothetical Ultimate Goku wouldn't be much higher than his Super Saiyan 3 form at that time, so training is still the best method for Goku to increase his power. With all of that being said, let's resume with the story. Once Gohan was able to use his ultimate form again, his power largely surpassed that of Piccolo, which made training harder. Because of that, Piccolo decides to wish for Shenlong to unlock his potential too, and after doing that, the training sessions with Gohan becomes much more effective. Considering this, in our revision, Piccolo's potential is unlocked much earlier than the events of Dragon Ball Super Hero, but of course, if Piccolo is able to use his orange form so early, it will significantly change the original story, so to avoid this, we need to approach the potential unlocked differently. In our revision, the power-up that Piccolo gets by Shenlong unlocking his potential is much lower, but most importantly, the greatest benefit is that it unlocked Piccolo's potential to use semi-divine ki, and by continuing training, he eventually will be able to use godly ki and his orange form later in the story. So, with our changes, the increase of Piccolo's power will be much more gradual compared to the original story, and we will be seeing the results of Piccolo's training and his unlocked potential gradually as the story progresses. So after Piccolo's potential was unlocked, he is empowered by semi-divine ki, although still very limitedly. Also, his ultimate state is still weaker than Gohan's, but at least, training now will be much better, with the lower disparity of power. Not too long after training with his potential unlocked, Piccolo joins the Tournament of Destroyers, by request of Goku. Regarding the actual tournament, the first modification is about Batamo, whose special ability seems to work differently in both adaptations. While in the anime, Batamo's body nullifies attacks by sending any damage he receives to another dimension, the manga is much more simple, since his defensive ability is due to his body being super stretchy and flexible, akin to a rubber body. Naturally, defensively speaking, Batamo's ability in the anime is way better, but for our revision, we will use the manga version of his ability, although, we will eventually use the anime adaptation of the ability as well, but I'll get more into that in a future video. The fight of Batamo against Goku goes basically the same as in the manga. Next round is between Goku and Frost. And the fight goes similarly to the original story, although, I have some concerns regarding Frost's power. If we take in consideration the power of the Saiyan Beyond God state of Goku and Vegeta in the anime adaptation, its power scaling is widely different than the manga. Which in turn makes Frost's power in both versions very different, so it was quite the challenge to decide which one to actually use. After much thought, I decided to go with the anime version of Frost, at least power-wise. But Frost having such a high power level is too much without a proper explanation, so I actually wrote an entire backstory to explain how Frost reached such power level. But I will explain this in detail in a future video, where we will expand upon the power, backstory and abilities of every fighter from the Tournament of Power. But as a tease, we will be incorporating certain no-canonical star into Frost's backstory. For now, all we need to know is that Frost is a lot stronger than his counterpart Frieza during the Namek arc due to him not dying and being active for many more years. And also, Frost is able to use semi-divine ki for the first time during the Tournament of Destroyers, thanks to a special device, which we will be exploring in the previously mentioned video. With that in mind, the fight between Goku and Frost goes very similar to the original story. Next round is Piccolo using his recently unlocked ultimate state against Frost, and in our revision, the power difference between both fighters is lesser than the original story, but Frost still holds the advantage in raw power, only when using semi-divine ki. Despite that, by using a very clever tactic with his special beam cannon technique, Piccolo is able to pin down his opponent, but before he is able to finish him off, Frost uses his poisonous needles again. This time, Frost got caught cheating, but in our revision, instead of Vegeta asking to fight the cheater, Piccolo is the one demanding a fair rematch. Frost enhances his power once again with semi-divine ki, but his body has debilitated quite a lot, since it is still not used to powering up this much, and after a very close fight, Piccolo is able to defeat Frost, although, he is also too exhausted to continue participating in the tourney. Next fight is Vegeta against Vegeta. I also wrote a background story for the Metal Man, but I'll leave that for the video I mentioned earlier. Still, it's safe to say that the Metal Man race is incredibly unique and inherently powerful. This battle goes basically the same as in the story, although it's worth to clarify that Vegeta, to test out the strength of his opponent, started using his regular forms, and since he accidentally defeated Vegeta by insulting him, he didn't end up using his demigod state. The next round is Vegeta vs. Kaba. There are only a couple of things to clarify about this fight. First, Vegeta once again didn't had to use his demigod state. Second, and more importantly, is regarding the way Kaba transformed into Super Saiyan. His base form definitively have the necessary power to transform into Super Saiyan, but I just find odd that he only needed to get angry to transform, since it implies that he never got that mad before during a fight, which is weird to say the least, considering he is an experienced fighter, and most likely, he is constantly fighting bad guys in his universe. It is not impossible, but it is unlikely. I have one possible explanation, although it is not definitive, so I may change my mind in the future. Basically, the Saiyans from the Universe 6 evolved differently than their counterpart, making them more peaceful as a result of their Saiyan genes, suppressing certain traits, such as the Ozaru form, their powerful rage, and the Super Saiyan form. When Vegeta transformed in front of Cabba, the latter's body felt the Super Saiyan Ki, awakening the heavily repressed genes, which allowed Cabba to transform after becoming very angry. Hit fight against Vegeta and Goku goes mostly the same as in the anime, but with some manga additions too. In our revision, Vegeta lasted longer against Hit than in the original story, but still ended up being defeated, although using the Super Saiyan Blue during the entire fight greatly contributed to his defeat, since the godly form consumes a lot of energy to maintain at full power. Also, Goku was able to better study the movements and timing of Hit attacks when he was observing the Vegeta fight, making it easier for him to later predict the assassin attacks during time skip. Goku starts fighting in his Super Saiyan God form against the assassin Hit, just like in the manga, and later uses Super Saiyan Blue in combination with a limited Kaioken. Hit also can use Godly Ki, although he only started recovering a portion of his full power during the tournament, since he is rusty for not needing to fight against anyone at max strength for a very long time. Beyond that, the story is the same in the original. Moving on to the power levels, starting with Goku, who now can use Kaioken in combination with the Super Saiyan Blue. Since the Kaioken is a divine technique, the increase of power is much higher while using Divine Ki. Goku's Super Saiyan Blue, combined with the limited Kaioken, have a power level of 75. Unlike last arc, Vegeta can use Super Saiyan Blue at full power for a longer period of time, although there is still plenty of room to improve. He has a power level of 72. Gohan and Piccolo, in their ultimate form, have a power level of 54 and 52, respectively, and they still have plenty of potential to become stronger. Next, without considering his specialty, Batamo have a power level below 25, but his vast majority of power goes to enhancing his unique physical traits, sacrificing every single other attribute, such as speed and strength. Solely considering his special ability, his maximum defensive capabilities fully works up to a power level of 46. Vegeta power level is at 39, and at full power, it is up to 49. His specialty is defense and increasing temperature of his lava, but sacrifices quite a lot of speed. The Saiyan Cabba have almost the same power level as Vegeta in his regular base form. But Cabba's Super Saiyan form is way weaker since it's not the mastered state, at a power level of 32. Next is Frieza counterpart, Frost. Even though he is not the type of fighter that constantly trains, he is still actively fighting criminals and other threats in his universe, and additionally, he increases his power through external interventions to enhance his body. His power level in the regular forms are similar to Frieza's. While enhancing his final form with semi-divine Ki, Frost has a level of 57, although still lacks proper control, just like his counterpart. Following Frost, we have the legendary assassin, Hit, initially in the tournament, have a power level of 69, while using Godly Ki. But his dormant power kept increasing while fighting Goku, and at the end of the battle, his power level was up to 77. After the tournament ended, the supreme ruler of the multiverse is introduced, the Grand Zeno. He can destroy literally anything effortlessly, and he seems to be completely unkillable. Do we need to say more? He have a power level of 100. The Omni King is the closest creature to having true omnipotence in the story, which personally I would say he should have, but who knows if in the future, a new even stronger character is introduced, which can be problematic to say the least. Alright, that should be for the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel, and if you prefer not to, I still appreciate immensely that you watched the video. With that being said, I hope you have great days to come and see you again soon. Smiley face.